Okay, I'm on a bit of a roll today. So another quick look at a game. I just covered Battle Group Commander of a game I recently rescued from my attic. It's called Minotaur Lords. It's by Reiner, Knizia or Knizia. So what you get is each player. It's a two-player game. You get this board which abstractly represents the kingdom of Croesus or something. There's like the upper kingdom and the lower kingdom. So they're and you're conflicting for domination in military, religious and economic might. So you have 6 of these handy-dandy Minotaur things to indicate this side's got the might in that, this side's got the might in that, depending on how it goes. You also have a bunch of curse tokens, a bit like a Minotaur maze, but the maze and the Minotaur really has nothing to do with the game, except I guess for a bit of inspiration, or rather an excuse for Mr. Knizia to invent a game. And then each side has, I think it's 30 cards here, and then there's 20 cards for an advanced game. So you've got blue and red, and the 20 are white. The advanced game sounds interesting. What you do is you play, I think, best of 3, yes, best of 3 games, and after your first game, each player will take out 5 cards, well, if they like, up to 5 cards of their deck, and then the loser, and they put it in this deck, so this deck will then become 30 cards. Then the loser chooses 5 cards, or up to 5, replacing what they took out. So they could get cards which their opponent has discarded, or any of these others. And then the winner takes, or the last game takes 5, and then the loser will start the next game. This is how the game plays. You start with, and I'm doing this video just because I had a quick look at Board Game Geek, and there's no video on it. There's a fair few number of reviews and so forth. So if you want to sort of see how the game really plays, read one of those reviews, but this will just give you an idea if you just want sort of quick, I mean, if you want all the rules, you know, explained in detail, this will give you an idea of a quick idea of how it plays. So you each takes 6 cards, and one of you starts. My last game, blue won very handily, so I'm going to let red start again, although they did start the last game. And it's interesting because they have different strengths and presumably different weaknesses. And the blue strength is that they can do additive. So, for example, essentially you have 3 phases in a turn, and then you check for dominance and exercise your dominance in these areas. And in each phase, each card has the little yellow icon has 0, 1 or 2. In phase 0, you can play as many cards which have a 0. You can play them out. In phase 1, you can play 1 phase 1 card, and in phase 2, you can play 1 phase 2 card. Then they also have an icon of military, religious, or I don't have one handed to show, or so that could be played in the military, religious, or economic sector in either kingdom, upper or lower. And the others, like this one, can only be played in military, this one only in religious, so forth. And some cards, you have different types of cards. You have minions, leaders, buildings, and then you have gods and fates. Gods are actually played in the middle, and you can have a maximum of 4 on either side. And fates are sort of played immediately and discarded, so they don't actually go in any place. So anyway, you start with 6. As the first player, you have to skip 2 phases. So the phases is phase 0, phase 1, phase 2, and then check for domination. So you could skip that in the first turn, which they did, and that was a mistake. And then, or you can just do none of those phases and just discard and draw back up to 6 cards. So red are going to go, obviously they will take 2 phases. If they've got a lot of zeros, they will put zeros down and then take one of the other phases, or you know, depending on what, I think they can only do 1 card in each. So if they got zeros, they're going to go for it. So he's going to go for 0. So he's got, And often cards have a text which they can perform. So this Oracle, for example, and you check for supremacy by each card has a number here, and that's 5. So if I have like 5 there, and my opponent, okay, let's just move this out of the way. So as card, this is my hands. Oops. Up there is the hand, and cards are played like this. So that card, say, is played, let's go here, and that's has 1 strength, and if he plays a 1 strength card, neither of us get supremacy. But if he doesn't have a card there, we will gain supremacy at the end of the turn, and then we can exercise that supremacy, domination, whatever you want to call it. And the blue advantage I'll show you in a minute when we get to them. So I'm not sure the red advantage yet. I think it might be in their card text. So they've got 2 zeros, and they can both of them can be played in either any area, but they're not cards. Leaders, you can only have 1 leader in a place. Minions, you can have as many leaders in a place. I should say a column, as it's called. So just for the sake of, we're going to put, it's good to be strong in economics because you get to draw a card. So he's putting 5 there. It's you can lose if you run out, your deck runs out, or you win if you gain dominance in 2 in both upper and lower. So any 2 columns in both the upper and lower. So at the end of your turn. So in religion you can curse a card, which essentially means you negate its effect. So he's going for supremacy, it's called. I should try and keep my terms consistent. So he's going for the 0 phase, and then it will go for phase 2, just to make things sort of tidy here with the Colossus. But this Colossus has a massive strength of 8, but when it comes into play you have a curse on it. Now you can, instead of playing a card in one of the phases, you can remove a curse from one of those, a card that of its relevant phase. Not relevant now. So so he's played phase 0, phase 2, missed phase 1, and no, he doesn't want to miss the supremacy phase. So he's just going for phase 0 and then the supremacy. So essentially this is phase 1 and 2, and chose not to ditch his hand and get a new one. So he's gaining supremacy in those 2, checks for it, and now he can exercise it. So as I said, he gets a card having supremacy in the economics, and you can put a curse out. Oh, I should have done that there because there's nobody to curse, so let's put it there, and then you discard one of your opponent's cards for having supremacy in conflict. So, and that is the end of a turn. So essentially the turns are either just discard all your cards and draw back up to 6, or phase 0, phase 1, phase 2, and then supremacy in that order. And on the first turn you have to miss out 2 phases if you choose to do that. So you don't automatically draw a card. Oh, and I forgot their text. So when the Oracle of Philal goes into play, you must discard one of your minions from play in order to play this card. Oh, okay, so I didn't have a minion in play, so I couldn't do that. So in fact, he's only going to have dominance in one place, so that would be there, I think. Any buildings you play in this column have 1 fewer curse counters placed on them when played. Oh, that's good. So that Master Builder is preparing for that Colossus, so that when I play that, it will have no curse counters because there will be a Master Builder there. Unless that Master Builder has been cursed by the blues. So now it's the blues' turn. He's got his 6 cards, so he goes for the full turn. So he starts with 0. He's only got 1 0 card, so he will only get to play 1 of them, but he could potentially play as many. Now, blues have what they call horde cards. Many of them are marked with an X, so the strength is equal to as many other X or horde cards they have. These are the pilgrims. Do nothing special, they're just minions that are placed in religious. So we'll put them there. But then we can play one and 1 2 card. We've got 3 1 cards to choose from. Another Horde card. No special text. This one's nice because my opponent will discard 2 cards from the top of their deck and then the same Horde card. So I think we'll do that. We'll put this in conflict, and then we choose our phase 2 card. We've got a God and a Fate. This will obliterate one of our opponent's cards. We'll save that because that wouldn't gain us anything there at the moment. And this one is a God, Enlir. You may exchange the positions of 2 of your cards in play within their normal constraints. That's not benefit. So let's actually play this one. So we'll play that Fate, discard it and discard that. That was a minion. Okay, so that will go, but that doesn't matter until reds. So now we go to Supremacy. So blue has Supremacy here and here. So red loses a card for that and gains a curse, but there's no one to curse, never mind. So now we go back to red. Again, they don't get to draw automatically. They've got 0 cards. You must discard one of your minions to put that out. He's got a strength of 5. We don't have, and we've got 1 minion here at the moment. So I think that's going to go out. And so we want... Okay, that's no good for us playing either of these, because this one removes curses. It'd be a shame to play it now, but then it would give us... It could give us Dominion and cause them to lose Dominion. Okay, so we'll do that for 1. And we'll play this High Priest in 2. We could play them here and just play them here. The thing is, the point is for this point to knock their Supremacy out. Then we check for Supremacy. So that is worth 1, and that's worth 1 because there's only 1 Horde. That's 1 anyway. Maybe I should zoom in. You can't really see, can you? But it's not so important. Just you get the idea. So the Supremacy is here, and Supremacy is here. He just has flavor text. No. The High Priest of Jalal speaks through the roar of the ocean, the whisper of the wind, and the words of his servants. They've gained Supremacy, so blue loses a card and red gets to curse. And they're going to curse the Horde. Okay, so back over to blue. So he's going to simply put a minion there, and this guard, you may exchange the positions of 2 of your cards and play within their normal constraints. So he's going to do that, and then he can move these. So this minion's going to go there, and then this one, its normal constraint is that it can only be in conflict. That one's going to go there. So that's one of the 4 gods we can have out, and no other cards to play. So now we've gained Supremacy there. We couldn't contest it there with what we had out, so we gain it there and gain it there. So draw 2 cards. That's how you get them, by having economic Supremacy, and discard one of our opponents there. Okay, back to red. So red is, you probably get the idea, you might want to turn off now. I think I'm just going to leave this running and play out the game. It happens fairly rapid, it's not a slow game, or a long game I should say. Okay, so we've got 0 here that must discard a minion. That's a high value minion, so we don't want to do that. And then we've got one, these two. Okay. We're going to put the Colossus out. It gets a curse that comes with it, so it won't have effect until I've removed that, which I can do next turn, but they might put another curse on it, and then I could only move one at a time. I should have done this, and that is it. Don't feel too satisfied with that, but I'm not going to think about it too much. So that's nothing, but we still got this here, so we can place a curse out. That was cursed, and I think I took a card for that, didn't I? Which I shouldn't have done. I think one of these, so I'll put that back there. Curses are a bit... I need to check for them more carefully. Okay. Not so easy for me to see. Okay, so these get to curse. Once the god's played, its action's effectively over. So I'm going to put that down there to remind me. We're going to curse that horde. Okay. And then discard one from our opponent's deck. There. So now over to blue. Blue they've got a 1 and a 2. They don't have any zeros. I should probably be discarding. You always have to discard at least one card or play one card. So I can't play 2 cards and discard nothing. So I can only do one of these. So in fact, I think it's probably going to be wiser to discard those 2. Or should I keep 1? I can draw it to 2 cards when I play that, so I'll definitely keep that one. And draw 5 more cards. 1, 2. Oh, we've got another one of them. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2 zeros, 2 1s, 2 2s. Oh, that's neat. That's their go over. Back to red. You can see how beautifully tightly Mr. Knizia organises his games. Supremacy. No, you don't go for supremacy when you have to miss that out. Okay, so back to red. Change of fortune, Fortress of Dokwa, but first Oracle of Filial. Must discard a minion. I still don't have a minor minion. This is a strong minion. Discarding that to get that would only gain me 1 strength point, so there's no point. So I'll skip that. And I want to play all these, I want to hold on to them, but I need, so it's maybe a bit constipated in my play, but we'll have red do a different way. Place 2 when it comes to your opponent. Okay, this is great. Fortress of Dokwa. So it's worth 0 strength, but when I put it in play, I'm going to put it here, so I hope to always be able to have a curse once. Place 2, no, let's put it on this one. Place 2 curse counters on this card. No, I have a reason for placing it over here. Okay, place 2 curse counters, so it'll take me 2 turns to remove that, but I have a card here which will help me. But that's a 1 card, this is 2, so this gets played last. I've had to skip these 2. Your opponent cannot claim supremacy in this column regardless of how much power. So once I remove those curses, that column is reds forever and ever, unless there's some card that can remove that or something else that I don't know about yet. Okay, and that's, so then we go to supremacy. Again, we got it here. So we get to curse. We'll curse there. And we got supremacy here purely through, oh yeah, that was my curse. This is still cursed because I put that out. shucks. And this one we have, so they are going to drop one. Okay, so back to blue. Blue've got lots of cards to play, so they can play both these 0 ones. This is a chance, it's only worth 1 strength, it only goes in economics, but it's always good to go, so we'll just pop it there. No, actually at the moment, yeah, we can play as many actions as we like in 0, so I can do that and remove that 0 curse. And I can play this one as another horde. And we got 1, 2, 3 hordes. We'll pop it there. Then we can play one of these 1 cards. There's a horde or a beast. Ah yes, this one's nice. It's only worth 1 point again, and it's in strength. But when I play it, my opponent must discard 2 cards from the top of his or her deck. 1, 2. Ouch. And then 1, 2 card. We're both the same. So High Priest of Ragoth. A horde card. And I can draw up to 2 cards when I play it. It can go in any column. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That would, so we would equal the 8 there. I'm going to pop it there. Like I say, I'm not thinking that is too much. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the end of the actions. Now for supremacy, we've got 4 horde cards. So each horde card's worth 4. So that's 8 there. He's actually cursed anyway, so he retains supremacy there. Over here, no. Here, no. Here, yeah, here we've got it, and here we keep it. So that's 2 cards for the economics, lovely jubbly, and 1 for the conflict, and 1 curse we can put out here. So we will curse. That's just to keep that going for ages. Okay, over to red. Now red is looking not so great. He's going to discard that and pull up to 6. He's keeping that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Game go over. So back to blue. Don't even get to check for supremacy. So blue's got a 0. Any 0 curses? No, no. So you can just pop this out. Another horde card in religion. So we'll get there to, even when that curse is gone, we'll be sure to have supremacy there. Only got 1/1 card. It's just a straightforward horde card in might or religion. Let's pop it here because we're now going to be winning in that. Conflict might, they mean the same thing. What do they call it here? Military, religious and economic. Okay, and then finally I can play a 2 card. This is a god. You may draw a card or force your opponent to choose and discard a card. That's not so exciting, so we want this. It can go anywhere, and it's a horde. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horde cards. So that would be worth 7 there. I think they're going to win straight out. Because if at the end of the turn they got supremacy in 2 out of 3 of both sides, they've won. So now we check for supremacy. So they are supreme here. This has got 2 against 7, so supreme there. 7 against 4, supreme there. 1 against nothing, supreme there. 7 against nothing, supreme there. And no, sorry, that one doesn't count, so it's 6. Yeah, still winning. I think when cards are cursed, I'll turn them over. but then I don't know what they are, but it'll make me see it better. So I keep missing the curse. It should be a brighter or bigger thing for me to see it. But anyway, still have supremacy there, and so you can see they have won the game. That's what happened the last game I just played. I played sometimes before, many years ago. Don't know how it went then, but so obviously I'm doing something wrong with red. So it'd be really interesting to explore the red tactic against, because the blue has the horde. They just go and exponentially gain in strength, while red only gains it incrementally, though he has some quite strong strengths, like that was 8, that's 4 straight away. But so what we would do is then red would say, oh, I lost that, go to the advanced game, get rid of some of these, put some of these in, maybe think about it and go in for another battle. So blue could do the same, but they're quite happy with their tactic at the moment. So that is it. So you can see the theme in the pictures is stimulating enough, and the pictures are pleasing enough to me. They're not like, they're actually hand painted. They're not, I hate computer graphic pictures because they're just sort of flat and dead to me. They try to look hyper real and just end up looking subreal. But anyway, so that's enough to sort of capture me imaginatively, and most Knizias that I've played, the game itself is an excellent abstract game. In the combination, that's quite a pleasing thing. I would happily play this again, just probably not. If I had an opponent, who wanted to feel like we were mastering it, yeah, I would happily play this many times against the same person to really try and find out, explore strengths and weaknesses of, maybe we always play the same side, and then swap sides once we've felt that we've mastered one and want to try the other or something. I'd love to do that. Fact is, will I ever find someone I can do that with? Unless I can groom my son to do so, but that's going to be many years from now, and we never know. Okay, so thumbs up for Minotaur Lords, definitely. I was glad to have got it. It's in a series of games that I bought many moons ago. One was, Titan. There was a game, Titan the Arena, and this reminds me of that, although it's very different, but just the production, sort of the values and the style remind me a lot of that. That was like a betting game. You're betting on, it's not based on the famous ancient game Titan, but you're effectively betting on titans that are battling in an arena. I don't know why I'm talking about this, because this game reminds me of it, but it's a long lost game. It just went missing one day. I could never understand where it went. You can't really lose a game down the back of your sofa, but that's the sort of thing that must have happened to it, and I've never been able to play it since, and so this has sort of wistfully reminded me of that. And although I think I preferred that than this, because it was more a sort of bluffing and risk-taking game. This is more a crunching game, isn't it? A thoughtful crunching game. But you saw it, and that's how it plays, and good for it. Okay, over and out.